Welcome back, Troglodytes, to another episode of Trogly's Guitars. Today we have a beautiful 1980 Gibson Les Paul Custom in the very rare and desirable Silverburst finish. The Silverburst Custom, one of the most desirable customs of the Norland era. They were first introduced late 77 is when the first prototypes are. I think there's like one or two of them out there like that. But 78 is typically considered the first year for these. But a lot of people actually think it's 79. So you learn a little bit here. This one's a 1980. So it's, within about 3 years of production. It still has the original T-top pickups in it. And overall, I'd say this guitar is in good condition. It's very hard to find clean Silverbursts that don't have the finish worn off the back of them. This one does have some minor modifications and average players wear, but overall, it's in great shape. So let's see its condition. The headstock is in overall good shape. You do have some light string change wear, as you're seeing once you get the light on it there. But overall, it's in good shape and very yellowed from age. That's something else about these Silverbursts, is that they kind of turn green in time. This one's kind of in between that greenish hue and the silver hue. Some of these can turn, alien green. And this one's on its way, don't get me wrong, but the yellowing of the lacquer has definitely given this guitar a very cool look. You can see on the edges here that there's some finish worn away kind of at the top here. Nothing too bad, but it is there for you to consider. So it must have been like leaning up against a wall or something. You got a few little nicks and dings there. On to the fretboard. Now the fretboard, the frets are in good shape. It looks like they've been leveled and dressed fairly, recently. But whoever did the job wasn't exactly 100% skilled, because they left a little bit of marring by each fret in the fretboard. It's no big deal, but I'll show you an up close of that here in a second. The ebony fretboard has just been cleaned and the frets were polished. You can see kind of on the fretboard, you can see small areas where it looks like these were leveled and crowned at one point in time. And whoever did that didn't do the best job in the world, because you can see a little bit of divoting kind of by the frets. I mean, it's nothing too extreme, and you can really only see it when you're really looking for it here. It does not affect playability in the slightest, but it is there. Besides that, it's crack-free and it's looking good. Only other thing to note is up here on the 4th fret, there's a little piece of the fret missing at the very end there. That doesn't affect playability, but it is there, so it should be noted. On to the body. So once again, the pickups are restored back to original. They were out at one point in time, but I do truly believe this is the original set to this guitar. The bridge has been swapped out. It's kind of an ABR1 styled bridge with a wire. I'm not sure about the tailpiece here. It might have been swapped as well. But everything else is original on this guitar except for the strap buttons. And as you can see here, the body's in good shape. We'll get it in the light. You can see only very minor nicks and dings, stuff that would polish out for the most part. You can see the seam for the 3-piece top kind of showing there. It's not separating or anything, but you do got a nice little ding there, and some along the outside edge as well. You can see the beautiful aged speed knobs there. They look really nice on this example. So that's the front. Fairly clean. You just got your minor nicks and dings as we're seeing here. Back of the headstock is in good shape here. Serial number is 80650615. Made in USA. Original Gibson branded Schaller tuners. Back of the headstock's in good shape. Once again, you got the minor wear and tear on the edges, but besides that, it's in good shape. You got your sweet volute. And the volute did take a small hit at one point in time. So it's got a little bit of a ding here, and then it kind of has a finish check stemming from that going down. So don't confuse that with a break or a repair. I know it's in kind of an ugly spot, but we'll show you here in the Blacklight Test in a little bit that that is not a break, crack, or repair. You can kind of see the close-up of the ding there, and you can see the finish line check kind of on the side there. Back of the neck is not destroyed, which is very common on these things. The finish will wear off of them. It is in good shape. You do have some very light finish wear kind of on the sides here, where it's not quite as yellow, it's more creamed. And you do have a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a ding or impression right there. It might clean off though. But it looks like you have some light scratches and some light dings up and down the neck. And a little bit of a scratch there. But overall, it's in good shape. You still have the finish, and that's what's important. The back of the guitar does exhibit some wear. As you see in the light here, you've got some very minor buckle rash. It's not like destroying the finish or anything. But there is some wear and tear, as we'll close up here. It's all in the clear coat for the most part. But the pots on the inside are all original as well. So overall, this is a fairly clean Silverburst. Once again, changed out strap locks for Dunlop styled strap locks. Now, these Silverbursts are commanding quite a premium nowadays just because of how hard it is to find such a nice example in clean condition. I wouldn't necessarily say this one is 100% collector's grade, but it's very close. It's got non-original solder joints, but for the most part the guitar is all original or could easily be restored. Like an Era Correct bridge and posts, those are about 50 bucks. You know, you can get a vintage original one. Then after that, strap buttons, you're at about 20 to 30, upwards of 50 at most. And then you would have an all-original guitar. So this is an awesome example, and it plays great. The Silverburst Beauty still has its original Gibson T-top pickups. The date stamps are actually fairly close together on this set. It's a January 24th, 1980 and January 25th, 1980. Usually those dates are a little bit farther apart than that, so that's really cool. It's kind of a match set here. You can see inside the cavities, no extra routings or anything like that, and it is the original Silverburst finish. There we go, you can see there. Something to note is, at one point in time, within the past couple of years, a 57 Classic Plus was actually put in this guitar. I restored this one back to original with its original humbucker. The cover is not actually soldered back on, so it can come off if you want it to kind of give it that Tool Adam Jones vibe. I'll leave that up to you if you want that soldered back on, but it stays on just fine. Something else to note is the pickup ring and the height adjustment screws and the springs. I'm guessing those were replaced because they don't quite look the same, but they're very close. Inside the control cavity, you can see the original 1979 Gibson pots, and you can see the original soldering. Once again, this one has been touched up. That one might have been as well. Actually, most likely it has been. So they've both been touched up at one point in time, but it is restored back to original with its original pickups. Guitar comes with its original Era Correct case. This is kind of the standard Gibson case of the era. There were also the upgraded chainsaw cases, but due to varying store levels, this is still considered correct, as would a Gen 2 or Gen 3 chainsaw case for this guitar. These are nice cases. It's got a nice red interior with plenty of lid ribbons that don't break, unlike other years. It houses the guitar just fine. I'll put some extra bubble wrap in here, that way you have a double neck rest for peace of mind. And you do have one of the original screws in here for the height adjustment screws. There's quite a few scuffs all around, and it's got some white on the back for some reason. Not sure where that's from, maybe some stickers. But all in all, it's in good shape. Just your average wear and tear and some tears in the Tolex. Still have your Gibson logo, so everything's good. As you can see, it fits in just fine. You can move it around. It stays put for the most part. And the headstock gets decent clearance, but as I said, I'll give you some extra bubble wrap to get it up to there. If you want a green Silverburst, here you go. Throw it under Blacklight. Alright, so as you can see, original finish on the front of the headstock, very plain as day. Oh, I guess the other thing I forgot to mention is it does have a replaced, it looks like a nylon nut. Front of the guitar, once again, all original finish. I know, unlike that other Silverburst I had a month or so ago that I sold to Chicago Music Exchange, this one is all original in its finish. Original knobs, it's all looking good. Back of the headstock's looking good, and now for the moment of truth. There you go. That's just a small ding there, not a break, crack, or repair. That finish check doesn't even really show up under Blacklight, so that tells you there's been no breaks, cracks, or repairs. So you are in the clear there, but you can kind of see some of the light nicks and dings in the clear coat of the neck there. But in all reality, it is very minor. You can see on the side of the neck, as I was kind of pointing out earlier, that there is some light finish wear, especially right there towards the middle. I guess you can see a little bit has worn away, but that's not really as apparent under regular lighting circumstances. Take a look at this side here. You can see how the binding glows a little bit differently where the lacquer was kind of played off a little bit. Back of the guitar is in good shape. You can see some minor nicks and dings, but original finish, and that's what matters. That's just reflecting the black light. There's not marks in there. So some light dings on the side, but overall not too bad. These blacklight tests are just fantastic for showing the condition of the guitar as well as original finish. It looks black around there because there's a black pad. You got some minor nicks and dings there. So there you go. It passes the blacklight test with flying colors. So now that we know what it looks like in its condition, let's see how she sounds.